104.5, the team, your home for New York sports. The Knicks waded out to the big boy end of the pool last night, and for a reaction from where they ended up, we go to the Sports Animal 98.1. It's our friend Curtis Fitzpatrick in Oklahoma City. Did you see a Knicks team that I can be remotely proud of last night as they took on Oklahoma City?
Yes. No, I'll tell you this. I mean, they had won 6 games in a row at home. So I think any time, and then Thunder fans deal with this all the time too. You play well, and then one bad game, and people like to take that little snapshot as the end all, and that's the way the team is. I think you got to look at it in a bigger picture. Look at it in a week to 2 week period. See how they're doing in stretches. If that performance last night carried on into the next game and the game after that, then I think there's something to be worried about. Listen, I love Porzingis. He had a bad night last night until the end. He got hot. So I think you can definitely build around him. I thought Noah was terrible.
Yeah.
Carmelo, he's not going to shoot like that all the time. So, I mean, I just wouldn't overreact over one game. Plus, Russell Westbrook's playing off the charts right now, and he's doing that to a lot of people.
Yeah, let's talk about Russell Westbrook. He has a triple-double early in the third quarter. This season, is he out to prove something now that Kevin Durant's gone?
I mean, he'll give you the stock answer is that, hey, he's just going out there to try to help his team win, do all that stuff. But, yeah, there's no doubt that that's part of his DNA. Now, I will say this for him, that he plays like that all the time. It just happened when he had Kevin Durant on his team. He has somebody else to share the workload with. He doesn't have that option right now. So he's kind of by necessity having to do that. I mean, they didn't have Russell Westbrook, they'd be like a 3-win team right now. But the fact is they do, and that team now has to be retooled around him, where originally the roster was built around Kevin Durant alongside with Russell Westbrook. And that's where, when they've had struggles, it's because the pieces don't necessarily fit. That's going to be something like the Knicks that they have to figure out going forward, whether it's during the trade deadline or the draft, trading around that time, free agency. We all know that's kind of a poker game anyway, but that's something this team has to figure out. Right now, Westbrook's playing like that because, one, he has to. Two, that's the way he always plays. Now, are the triple-doubles coming at an even greater pace? Sure. But he has to take on that load if they want to continue to win.
Curtis Fitzpatrick with us right now, 104.5 the team. He's on the Sports Animal 98.1 in Oklahoma City. This team, this Thunder with Westbrook as the clear centerpiece, how good are they? How far can they go?
Listen, we did our picks before the year, and I wasn't as popular as some guys. I picked them like 8th in the Western Conference because I've seen this roster without Kevin Durant before. It happened a couple years ago, and when he was injured, they played a lot of games without him. Now, Russell wasn't playing in a lot of those games too, but for the most part, when they were winning, it was with Russell Westbrook on the floor, Kevin Durant out, and they were winning at about a 500 clip. I kind of saw that happening, and I still think that's probably where they're going to land. More people around here probably picked them in the 6-5 range in the Western Conference. I mean, it's obvious that it's top-heavy. It's like the East. There are a few teams, and then everybody else jockeying for positioning. I think there's some other teams out west that are very capable of being really good teams, but maybe they're not there yet. They haven't had that experience to break through. So that's where I think that side of the argument would benefit the Thunder. And you maybe say, all right, maybe if they played well, when it mattered, they could reach that 4th spot. They're not getting into the top 3. I don't think they're in the top 4 for sure. But I think it's kind of open between seeds 5 through almost down to like 9 and 10. I think if you just looked at all those teams, they're kind of the same, and it's just a matter of who gets hot at the right time. I think they're probably a first-round playoff team and out, and I think that's a successful season given what happened, given that they didn't have a lot of time to retool the roster.
We're looking at Russell Westbrook right now, less than 20 games into the season, but still he's averaging a triple-double. Right. No one's been doing that since Oscar Robertson years ago. Is he actually a better basketball player without Kevin Durant?
I think he's becoming that because he's becoming a better leader. I mean, I don't think he's ever had an issue with leadership, but these guys on this roster, they love the guy. and he loves them. Like you could tell it's a tight group, and maybe part of it's because Durant left, and they all felt a little betrayed. And he left us. We're going to come together. We're not going to let this thing fall apart. So from that standpoint, yeah, I think because he's becoming a better leader, and he's having to put more trust in his teammates, and then also when things aren't going well, he can't overreact. Where in the past, you've seen the hot-headed Russell Westbrook maybe overreact to certain things, and maybe that affected his play. He's having to teach himself, I need to calm down right here. I need to slow my roll a little bit. Let's make this a teaching moment. And a lot of that sounds like coach speak, but in years past, he could get away with being a hothead. You can definitely tell, even in interviews. And, listen, we're all in the media. We love great sound bites. So we look at it from a different perspective than fans. Fans want results. We have a couple different interests. One is dealing with these guys on a personal level. And this year, he's been a much better interview than in years past. Frankly, he's been a terrible guy to have to talk to. You kind of roll your eyes when Russell's available because he doesn't want to give you a lot. You could tell just in his dealings with the media that he is a better leader and he's more communicative. So I think from that standpoint, yeah, he has become a better basketball player.
He's the morning show on the Sports Animal 98.1 in Oklahoma City. Curtis Fitzpatrick joining Levack and Guys right here on 104.5 The Team.
Overall, Kristaps Porzingis, we see somebody who can really make plays. Kevin Durant, could we see a possible future Durant and Porzingis?
If you told fans in Oklahoma City that was a possibility, they would high-five anybody on the Knicks that made that happen. The thing about the Durant decision around here, it's not as much that he left, it's who he went to.
Right.
And whether that's, blinded perspective or not, fans cannot stand the Golden State Warriors here. And the fact that that's the team he went to of all the people, that was the biggest problem. So if he went to New York, I think people would say, good riddance, Golden State, go have fun with Porzingis. I would have thought that was a possibility. I remember having this discussion a year ago. It was about the time when the Thunder played up in New York, and I remember Durant was asked about him, and he mentioned the unicorn that Porzingis was. That was a very popular catchphrase.
You said it, Curtis. That's what we had to do. That's the unicorn.
Did I walk right into that? But that is that. I remember thinking then, man, I would watch out for the Knicks. Now, the season didn't go that well, but if they show some signs, I think a lot of it may have to do with Carmelo. How many years left on the tires does he have? I don't think Derrick Rose is a long-term option. Noah, some of these guys are stopgap measures, but yeah, if you could sell Durant that Porzingis is here for the long term, Melo's got a few years left, we add another piece, I guess it's possible. I think for Durant, it probably comes down to whether or not he wins at Golden State if he starts to look elsewhere.
There's no way Russell Westbrook leaves anytime, after that contract or anything. He's Oklahoma City for life, right?
As long as they keep building pieces to say that we're going to be in this for the long term, then I think he's very committed to staying here. Absolutely. Now, there's the thing about Russell Westbrook is he's got, on the surface, I think we were all kind of duped. Durant seemed like the kind of guy that was the small-town kid, wanted to shy away from the limelight, where Westbrook's the fashion mogul, L.A., New York kind of guy. Spends a lot of time in New York, Fashion Week, lives out in L.A., he's from L.A. You would have thought that would have been the guy who would have gone to the bigger market. But at his core, he's a real laid-back family guy. Doesn't have a big posse. He's got kind of his inner circle of like 5 people, and that's it. So he really does fit in here. I think as long as they keep building pieces and adding and proving to him that they want to win, and they make that attempt to retool the roster, which isn't going to happen overnight. If they continue to do that, then I think he'll be here for a while. But he'll leave that door open, absolutely.
Shedding a little light on what the Knicks walked into last night. Curtis Fitzpatrick from the Sports Animal 98.1 in Oklahoma City. Man, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, anytime, guys.